guys, Jen here from Green Thumb Technology. Today we're going to talk about keeping your indoor garden pest free. So the difference between your indoor and your outdoor garden is your outdoor garden has some predatory bugs like ladybugs, spiders, wasps that actually attack other bugs that go after your plants. So it keeps everything in check and balance. With your indoor garden, we don't have that obviously, so we do want to keep it really clean. The way to do that is to avoid some of these common mistakes. So one common mistake is to be out in your outdoor garden, come into the house and go straight to your indoor garden. Without even knowing it, you could have some pests like a small little aphid on your shirt, and that will crawl into your indoor garden and start a problem for you. So when you come into the house, the best thing to do is to inspect your clothes, give them a shake and a brush off, same with your hair. And if you want to be a little bit more diligent and go the extra step, the best thing to do is have a shower, put some clean clothes on before you come in and start working in your indoor garden. Another culprit is houseplants. So if you have houseplants that might have some pests on them, such as like a spider mite infestation, the last thing you want to do is be handling that plant and then come over to your indoor garden and transfer those pests to your indoor garden. Another thing that can happen is if you have produce from the farmer's market or organic produce, they often have pests on them because they're not using pesticides, of course, which is great. But in that case as well, you want to make sure that you're not handling, chopping up or putting groceries away those vegetables and then again coming to your indoor garden. So just avoiding that cross-contamination will take care of 99% of your concerns there. The other one that can be troublesome is if you try and transplant a soil-based seedling into your indoor garden. So if you rinse the soil off, put it in a pot here and throw it in your indoor garden, you can transfer not only pests but soil-borne diseases. So we want to avoid that altogether. So that will generally keep your garden pest-free and you will have lots of great growing. But if you do get to a point in your gardening where you have gotten some pests on your plants indoors, the first thing I do is I inspect to see if there's one or two plants that are really heavily infested. A lot of the time, something like the aphids, they'll hone in on one or two plants. They particularly like peppers, but whatever plant is sort of maybe a little bit weaker in resistance, they'll hone in on those plants. And with those plants, they're probably hard to salvage at that point as well. It's just the infestation is too great. So those plants I will remove from the garden and dispose of them. With the rest of the plants, even if they don't have any bugs on them, I'll still take them out. So I'll just take out my plant and I'll go take it over to the sink and I'll just rinse it gently in cold water. And if I see any aphids, you can also sort of squish them and brush them off. So I do that with all the plants, even if there's no signs of bugs on them, and do that 2 to 3 times within the week until you've resolved the problem. If that doesn't resolve the problem, then at that point you're probably going to have to remove all your plants to start over, unfortunately. So at that point, if you've had to remove all your plants, a good idea would be to take the garden apart and give it a good clean. You can reuse the net pots and the clay pellets. Just make sure you give them a good scrub in warm water. You can use soap on the net pots. Just make sure to rinse them thoroughly, but don't use soap in the clay pellets. You don't want the clay absorbing any suds. And same with your indoor garden. Just some fresh warm water with a scrub brush to get into all the cracks and crannies there and give it a good clean. Don't use any harsh detergents or soaps, just water and a scrub brush should do the trick. And then you can put it back together and start over. So to recap, the best thing is prevention. So not cross-contaminating any other plants with our indoor garden and just being sure that we're not transporting those bugs on our clothing is your best bet, and you'll have no problems with pests. Okay, well that's it for today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can follow along. And next time we are going to talk about diseases and how to prevent those. Okay.